Hello. Hi, everybody. Yes, it's Sunday, the 20th, nearly 11 o'clock Central Time. Hey, Mendocino. Hey, Star. I know we've got people popping in. I just need to remind, even though I have the disclaimer in the intro, I have to remind people that, yes, I am a clairaudient, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. And please do your own research, form your own opinions. This is just what when I listen to the news and all sorts of other people, I get my own psychic opinions on what's really going on. And that's what this channel is all about. And yeah, my notes are kind of all over the place today because I've been taking notes for the past few days. Hey, Gay. So I'm just going to go through them, and if I jump around, please excuse it for today. Now, those of you who've been subscribers or loyal viewers of my channel for the past couple of years, I started in 23, so it's 3 years now doing this. And way back when, I used to occasionally would do some live streams with Mystical Fortunes, and she'd pull cards, and we'd kind of go back and forth as to, hey, corroborate on stuff. And I caught one of her readings the other day. It was about Prince William going to Saudi Arabia. Well, something that a lot of people forget, okay, William's going to be there during the start of the Winter Olympics, which are being held in Italy. Yes, a lot of people found me on Fiona's channel, and I'm thankful for her for helping me out get things started. Okay, now, yeah, William is going to be heading down to Saudi Arabia. It's about, depending on what jet you're on. I'll answer that in a moment, Mendocino. Okay, what people don't realize is that the Crown Prince Mohammed, well, back in the day, we called him Mikey. That was his nickname. Mikey is the same age as around my age bracket, which means around Diana's age bracket. And way back in the late 70s, there used to be a bunch of us. Mikey was kind of like on the fringes of the crowd where Dutch was in, and so was I. So William is going to be discussing stuff with the Saudi royals, and some of them are going to give him some insight as to private stuff that way back when, before Diana started dating his dad. And the other thing is that at that time, the current king, you see, they were being taught how to fly L-1011s. And my dad was one of the instructors. So William's going to be going down, and some of the royals learning how to fly L-1011s. Guy, my dad, I hear him talking about him. And another guy that they called Chucky. So William will be going down, and he'll be finding finding out some info that's kind of stayed quiet. And yeah, they used to talk. Uh, they used to talk about stuff. And one thing that they did make comment about was that yeah, Charles was being. They put a female who would be the proper queen, but he still had his blonde on the side, and they kind of think what he did is not so great by staying loyal to the mistress and not to the wife. And William will be hearing some of the stories about his mom that are not public knowledge. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why he's going down. Now, okay, the new alleged FBI agency in the UK. You see, MI5 is being stonewalled by the Islamic idiots. And we know that the Islamic idiots are doing all sorts of crazy shit here in the US. So, yeah, basically, we know Donald and William talk on a regular basis. And Don knows that Chucky's kind of an idiot. So Donald is helping out William so that George eventually will be on the so Donald is doing what needs to be done in the UK to help squash the Islamic takeover of Great Britain. And because that's what they want. These Islamic idiots are, they want world domination, and it's not going to happen. Donald's helping William getting ready to clean up the mess and help to reveal the stinkers in the woodpile. And a lot of people are having fits because of the stuff that happened up in Minnesota. Oh, yeah, this guy, they said, oh, he's an intensive care nurse. I want to see that guy's medical history. Because what he was doing is equivalent to wearing a boom boom vest into some place. Did he recently get a diagnosis where he was in a final countdown? That's why he did what he did, knowing that he would not be out to watch the Super Bowl. I keep getting he received a terminal diagnosis, and that's why he decided to sacrifice himself for the behalf of the Islamic idiots. And these Islamic idiots keep forgetting that the United States, the colonies were basically founded. Yeah, they were the U.S., the colonies, and yeah, I have family members doing the digging, and turns out that on my dad's side, yeah, we're Scots who came over after the Hanoverian succession, and it was they call it the Scot-Irish who settled, who created the colonies over here, the 13 original colonies. And it was the Scot-Irish, who were basically FU to George III's Parliament, who were pushing through all sorts of crap. And said, no, we're creating our own country. We're not going to listen to you bullshit. Yeah, no taxation without representation. Hey, Lady of the Lake. So, yeah, I could most likely we're going to be getting the paperwork. So, because of my dad's side, I could probably claim membership for the Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR. This country was founded on religious freedom with nobody shoving some religious ideology down somebody else's throat. The legalities, yeah. The legalities to not, no representation, no laws are to be passed or put through without representation of everybody. So that kind of puts their Sharia ideology into the garbage can. And they don't like that. And people have to remember why we're not a member of the Commonwealth. We have to go back 250 years. And kids, everyone needs to reread the Declaration of Independence and our Bill of Rights. Remember, we are a republic, not a democracy. The past 2 decades, okay, come on, eliminating the truth from the kids. So yes, Donald is providing William help with the U.S. FBI, CIA. So he has all the evidence so he can kick those people out. And yeah, they remember the Democratic Party probably went looking for someone who had recently diagnosed with a terminal illness and offered that person a sweet deal for their family if they would go and do what he did. Hi, Susie. No problem. No problem. When you pop in, that's fine. So, yeah, and Donald's been doing some really good stuff, especially in the past week. He said F you to the WHO, the World Health Organization, and saying no idiots across the pond are going to make medical decisions for American citizens. So they're like, hey, we don't have to listen to some idiot who doesn't know my medical history. Chucky is now realizing that Donald is the go-to person for William. You're to try to gain the trust of William and Henry. So that's why Charles is doing some silly stuff. He's flying all over the place. And yeah, it's Donald and Melania that are providing guidance for William and Catherine, along with Edward and Sophie. Those are the 2 couples that are helping and are there for William and Catherine. And yes, Sophie is a great auntie to George, Charlotte, and little Louie. Remember, Sophie is would spend hours down in the archives of Windsor Castle. Okay, how come the camera keeps bleeping out? Sophie would literally be there going through the history, and she will be there to help Catherine answer questions for when the kids start asking them. Yeah, I know I'm buffering. Part of it is also because the weather that we're having. And I know that my channel has been put on a watch list because I don't follow normal. I'm in Illinois, so I don't follow the mandated, stick to this line of bullshit. I cross the lines in what I'm saying. So when you see a glitch, you know it's because I'm saying something that that Big Brother doesn't like. I'm hitting on something that they don't like me saying. They don't want me to say it. They don't want the information to get out. Okay, yeah, the wacky weather. I mean, weeks ago, last year, I was saying we're going to be having a wacky weather year. And here we are 3 weeks into 2026, and yep, all heck's the weather system that's going through. Now, okay, living in the Chicago area, I'm accustomed to it. It's okay, I admit it, I have a full-length fur coat that goes down to my ankles, and I've got the fur hat and the sheepskin boots. So, and I've got the good thermal gloves. So when I have to go out, I'm nice and toasty warm, and I live walking distance from a grocery store. So I don't worry about stuff. And it's so those of us who are accustomed more Chicago, this weather is not phasing us. I mean, I look out my front windows and I've seen a lot of people out walking their dogs. And the doggies do have on their boots and winter jackets. So people know, hey, we put a jacket on our doggies, we put the boots on our doggies so their paws don't get irritated by the salt. And people are basically living life as normal here in the Chicago area. But I've had, so we're prepared. But the one thing that, I mean, I have kind of a big family, and I've been hearing someone made a comment that Area 51 has been really, really busy over the past several weeks, which means they were gearing up for this weather pattern. And what they did is they've scheduled the worst of it to go through areas with a high, where the local governments are basically controlled by demon quacks. And we saw what happened during Hurricane Helene. That if you were voting blue, you were getting all the help you needed. But if you didn't vote blue, you were kind of like hung out to dry. So these areas that are getting hit with the worst nonsense are filled with people who vote blue no matter who, and that are not protecting our republic. I mean, so they're going to be hit with some nasty ass weather, and they are not prepared for it. And even though things are here in Illinois, I've been hearing that, oh, Pritzker is getting ready to, getting equipment ready to cross over because we're close to Paducah, Kentucky, and Memphis and stuff to go over and help out. But I think this weather pattern was premeditated to expose the blue idiots, and they don't know how to do it. Yet the power outages, remember, don't laugh, but if you have some big tin cans in the house, like open a big can of tomatoes, a lot of those big fat candles can go into a metal can, and you light the candle in there, and it generates heat and light. And remember that, don't laugh, but ladies, I know most of you have at least one silk blouse in your closet. Wear it. Silk retains heat. It's a lightweight fabric, but it keeps you warm. And make sure you connect with your neighbors, especially the ones that have a fireplace. Yes, Crisco. Remember back in the Laura Ingalls Wilder's book called The Long Winter? And she explained how to make a lamp basically using thread and grease, like bacon grease, and a button. You have the button you kind of feed the thread through the holes of the button, so you have like a thick piece of twine. You twist it, and you soak it in the bacon grease, and you have the button on the glob of bacon grease, and it like sucks up, and it creates your own little mini light. So yeah, if you go back and read the books that were popular back 20, 30 years ago, like Little House on the Prairie, you find out all sorts of like tricks to survive a cold winter. And the book, I was talking to one of my younger cousins this morning, and we were laughing. I go, yeah, her daughter is now into the Little House books. And I go, get a copy of the Little House cookbook, because it instructs you on how to make meals out of shelf-stable food. And it works. And I know it's where I live, I'm kind of lucky because the apartment I found, heat is included in the rent. Well, over the past several days, we keep getting reminder text messages from the building management. Make sure you have your heat turned up. And hi Maria, make sure you've got the heat turned up higher, and open the cabinet doors underneath your sink. So yeah, my heat is set at 80 degrees. And we're laughing. They're like, yeah, the building owner would prefer to have a high heating bill than have to go in and replace the broken pipes. It's like, yeah, walking around with a lightweight t-shirt on okay. So yeah, that's how we're dealing with it. And they also back when the faux flu happened, a lot of people were sealing their houses up. Hi, Joe. And a lot of people in this cold weather, they're sealing their houses up not to let the hot air out. But you got to remember that if you seal your house, you're locking all the carbon dioxide. You're losing oxygen in your house. So remember to have at least one, maybe two windows cracked open, like a quarter to half an inch. So you are getting fresh air into your house. You need it. Because I caught one news clip on one of the tiny local stations where someone had sealed their house so tightly, and the neighbors didn't see an older person, and they found the older person had died from lack of oxygen. So make sure you open your windows or have a window cracked for at least a few minutes every day to let fresh air in. And if you are feeling kind of icky, when you go outside to take your garbage out, be out, don't run in and out immediately. Stay out there for about at least a minute and breathe in the fresh, cold air. Hey, Maria. The cold air helps your body to eliminate toxic germs out of your lungs. It lets you breathe in clean air. So yeah, you need to allow fresh air into your house during these crazy times. And yeah, the crazy stuff that's going to happen is in the Tennessee Valley states, the Democrats that are running the show, if they decide to penalize the red voters again, it's going to be exposed. And they're really, really going to blow up. And the other thing, one of the reasons why I was picking up that they did this weather nonsense is the people that came in after stopping off in Venezuela to get new paperwork, that came in during the open border of the Democrat open border nonsense. You open your back door for a minute or so to toss out goodies. Yes, that works. Yeah, feed the birds, take care of our wildlife, because they help. They're part of our food chain. But yeah, the people that came here during the Biden border situation, they don't know how to handle this cold weather. So yeah, they're going to shut up their houses. Maybe many of them will pass away in their sleep because they don't know any better. And they will also be the ones clogging up the emergency rooms because they don't know how to dress for the weather. And those of us who have to go out and do stuff, it's safer for us just to bundle up and go do what we need to do, because these fools can't handle it. And all their nastiness is going to be exposed. I mean, if you look, all the people who are gathering in Minnesota, they're the white liberals. And it's going to be, all that nonsense is going to blow up in their face. And people are going to start finding more and more of these healthcare and daycare If a business has care in it, hi, Micro. That's kind of a code word for them to be scamming people. Care equals scam. The link into everything. Let me drop it again. So it'll kick in. It will kick in. Yeah, let me put the link in. Okay. Yeah, if anyone wants to jump in, they're more than welcome. But yeah, these people, they can't handle the cold weather. So they'll succumb to their own ignorance and refusal to assimilate. And remember that weather that's here in the Midwest, it will hit the UK and Western Europe in about 5 days. So it'll be very interesting. Oh, Micro. Okay, I see what you're posting, but remember, because I have StreamYard set, that all the comments will show up on the stream. So when you decide to delete it, we still have evidence. So please behave yourself. If you have something to say, I put the link in, and I'll put it in again, and you can show your face and say it. Because honestly, most of the ladies in my chat, I have spoken to face to face numerous times. So let's see your face, okay? But yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, because a lot of these people who have come from countries where they try to ram their religion down our throats, like I said, they're going into the healthcare field. And they are doing stupid stuff. And they're going to be exposed for their unscrupulous behavior. And it's going to all blow up in their faces. Now, let me ask, who else? Okay, one is nonsense about Starmer going to be coming out. Lady, wait till this cold stuff crosses the Atlantic and hits Western Europe and the UK, because you're going to get slammed with it also. And here he's got plenty of notice that he has to line up shit. Make sure that people are going to be ready for when the cold weather hits, when this nasty storm front blows through. And a lot of things are going to be a freaking mess. So my lovely people in the UK, yeah, make sure you've got your canned goods stocked up and your dry and canned goods ready to go. And make sure that those with fireplaces, make sure you've got your cookware that can be cooked over the fireplace ready to go. And keep an eye on your older neighbors, because they usually have the better cookware, the cast iron stuff, that can be used over an open fire. Okay? Make sure you've got them. And when push comes to shove, yeah, you'll be dumping all your... remember the story, stone soup. You may be working with your neighbors to make a big pot of soup that everyone can enjoy. And you'll be probably hanging out at one of the whoever has the fireplace, the wood burning fireplace. And this will be a great way to get rid of all that. I know that people have enough, will have enough to make things happen. Okay? So make sure you're in the UK, you're stocking up on firewood and candles so you can read. And you're going to be safe. Everyone will be safe. We just need to think back to the stories of our grandparents and great grandparents, how they dealt with things, because cold weather is it's always been around. And the snow weather, hey, Chicago, it's like storm of 67, the winters of 78, 77, 78, 78, 79. I mean, horrible, horrible snowstorms. The nonsense that's going on in the Gulf area are what's happening is the cartels are actually running the show, and it's being and they're in panic mode. Yes, 62, 63 was another nasty one. And it's their foolishness and their egos are creating the downfall. And the one group that we have to be watching out for are the loyal followers of Pope Leo, because Pope Leo is race-eyed Democrat, so he's part of the evil nonsense. And it's going to be ridiculous. It's disgusting. And yeah, the younger generation have been in my opinion, have been totally brainwashed because they have put the electronic devices in the schools, and it's the subliminal stuff that has been corrupting the kids. I mean, yeah, it's like when I was talking to my cousin, she's like, actually has the kids read real books. And they're going to utilize these cold weather days for them. She's like, yeah, I've got a couple books I've been wanting to read. So she's going to be shutting down the electronics, and everyone's going to be sitting around the fire reading. And that's how they do it. And I know yeah, it's like if you go back, and you can find it online, the PBS stuff, the PBS app, and they do have the holiday specials for the TV show called The Midwife, and they do cover the bad weather of the early 60s very well. And I remember my dad saying how he hated having to go to Europe during the 60s because they kept the heat set at 55 degrees. And even when they went inside, they had to keep their long johns on. It was ridiculous. Where it's like, yeah, we used to keep the heat set at, my mom would always have the house set at like 74 degrees. But right now, because of circumstances, okay, the heat's set at 80. Okay. Oh, and don't worry, folks, because I know that after I go off, a lot of people, that's when I get the maximum viewers. People watch the replay so they can speed it up. Oh, yes. You were hitting the rocks and you were finding, how to start a fire with sparks. Now, is there anyone who would like to jump in and have questions answered today? I know that this time also a lot of people are they do a attend their religious services on Sunday. Remember, and the other thing, please remember, have a big pot of water on your stove and put in a pinch of cinnamon. So you're putting humidity into your house, water into the air, so nobody gets, I was talking to a friend the other night, and he goes, I got to call you right back. I have a nosebleed. So I was like, haven't you been simmering water? He goes, no, I have a pot on top of the radiator. I'm like, well, you better have both of them going, because otherwise your sinuses are really going to be a mess. So he's like, yeah, I got it. And he's got the saline spray going. So that's in New York. And he's been giving me some other feedback on what's really going there, but we know it was the current mayor of New York was put into place to make J.B. Pritzker and Gavin Newsom and the Minnesota idiots look good. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on politically. Yeah, a lot of smoke and mirrors hitting stuff. And yes, please remember, okay, if you're going to use antifreeze in the tracks for your sliding doors, please be careful with that, because a lot of our fur babies think it's water and they go to drink it and it's toxic. So it's better, instead of filling up the trough, just use a paper towel and wipe it down really well. Okay? Yes. Things are going to backfire. Everything is going to blow up in their faces, and Donald is helping William gather the evidence. So he will be able to basically tell every single parliament they've got to disband and everyone's out of office to create new general elections worldwide. And yeah, we are going to be I did get an unusual message the other day, and it was from somebody from kind of like an island situation that's in the North Atlantic. And they were asking, okay, because of the political situation here in Illinois, people are having to drop the prices on their residences because they can't find people who want to buy. They don't want to move here. But certain people who are in provinces north of the border or in the North Atlantic, they're asking me what housing prices, what would be good areas to look in. Because pretty soon they're going to be able to move here without having to go through the immigration nonsense. And they're looking forward to it. And I said, well, these are the areas that you really want to look at. Okay? And yeah, it's once we get through this midterm election nonsense here in Illinois, and we still have to wait to get rid of Pigster and Johnson, that's when things are going to start cleaning up. And start watching who's going to be replacement for Gruesome Newsom and J.B. Pritzker. That's what we've got. I've been talking to a couple of the guys running for Illinois governor, and still need to speak to a couple more before I can get a good read on who's going to be doing what. Okay. Well, Christine, that's why the storm is blowing through Virginia really nasty, to show the inept behavior of the blue idiots. Yeah, when I go into the downtown area because I have my post office box, I've seen the guys, and I do give them a high five. And because I have a kind of a schedule, and sometimes I see the same guys, and yeah, if I've been out getting pizza with friends, and we see the guys at another table, we send them over a round of beverages, whatever they're, uh, not alcoholic, but whatever they currently drinking, we send over dessert. And the guys come up and say thank you, and we all give them high fives. And they're like, whoa. It's like when we see them, they're like, one of the guys goes, saw us, it was a bunch of girls, and we saw one guy go out and then come back in. And then when they saw us getting ready to leave, one guy ran out real fast, and as we were walking out of the restaurant, he handed all of us the spray stuff to put in our coat pockets. And he says, hey, if you ever, he goes, this is what we're like, thank you. Thank you, Donald. So yeah, they're working with locals who support them. So we treat them with kindness and make sure they're taken care of, and they help us take care of ourselves and protect ourselves. Yeah. So, now, are there any other questions? Because I know it's, yeah, Illinois is on the hit list to get cleaned up, California, and basically they're allowing the fools to continue to destroy southern Minnesota so that when everything blows up in their faces, Tim Walz and the African idiots, when they're gone, the Scandinavian people who actually sold Minnesota will come down and kick those bodies out and straighten everything up. Because it's going to blow up. Northern Minnesota, go way up to International Falls. And they can't wait to see the idiots in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities go bye-bye. And if you notice, and also in the state of Maine, they're flipping the script on them and exposing everything. And all the Bernie Sanders people are sweating bullets, looking to move to a blue state. I've been seeing a lot of cars without estate plates with Bernie Sanders bumper stickers. They're fleeing to blue states, but they don't realize Illinois and California, you guys are SOL. Well, Lady of the Lake, you may have to read some of the novels by Charles Dickens to know how to get through some of the rough times. He does put some information on how to, day-to-day stuff on how to get through it. Okay? All right. Let me drop the link in again. Oh, you notice our little baby is SOL now. Has gone AWOL. Guess they can't handle showing their face. So, realize all their nasty stuff is safe. But yeah, you're related. Great. So yeah, people remember, go back to your old pieces of literature, and it shows how to get through the rough times. And one book a lot of people forget about, or they call it nasty, get a copy of the book Gone with the Wind and actually read it. Don't just watch the movie, but read the entire book. And it gives a lot of good information. All right? And yes, Gay, a lot of our family came from Europe, and a lot of things that I have been dealing with a lot of doctors because that the injuries from that fall that I had over Labor Day. And one thing that I've been calling out is these people don't have difficulty pronouncing my name and they're spelling it incorrectly. And I call them out. I'm like, hey, my mother's family, in order to get permanent residency, had to learn to speak American English. And hey, if they could do it, why aren't you doing it? That's discriminatory. So I have zero tolerance for them. You're in America. Learn to speak American English. Otherwise, your green card needs to be torn up. If my grandparents and great grandparents had to do that, you need to be doing it. And they're calling me racist for saying that. You move to this country, you learn to speak the language correctly. If you don't, go back to your shithead company, your country of origin. You don't want to speak American English? Go back. If my family had to do it, you better be doing it. My dad's family, they created this country. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have a country to come in and destroy. So, I'm no longer tolerating these idiots who think they come in and get everything for free and everything has to bend over backwards. That's why Donald last year made English our official language and no more catering to the people who want to speak a dialect of Spanish. Hi, Myra. I'm like, nope. Yeah. So no more of that. No more. I know we're getting more and more people popping in. But it's like, yeah, it's like we're going to see the good people out of Saudi helping William. They're going to be telling him a lot about his mom and the truth about what his Uncle Andy was doing. Okay? And when William returns, he is going to have a conversation with Daddy. And when William is in charge, Andy is going to have all his military honors reinstated. The Saudis are providing the information about his mom, his uncle, and his sister-in-law. And Henry's going to be sweating bullets. Henry's going to be hiding out down at Highgrove. And those kids are going to have to be brought over for testing. And the crazy weather is going to push Charles. Okay? He won't be able to handle it. And it will be just like back in the 70s and 80s, how a snowstorm ruined Mike Bolandic's chance at being reelected mayor and gave Janie the opportunity. This weather pattern that's going to go through is going to make sure that Sadiq and Keir will not be reelected. They are going to be blowing the nasty weather that's going to go through the UK is intentional to totally embarrass the current government situation. Okay? That's the game plan. Stick it out. This weather pattern is to expose the incompetent politicians. Alrighty? Now, are there any more questions or anyone who'd like to jump in and come up? But I want to thank everyone who's watching today. And please remember to click the click the thumbs up. And I really haven't. I'm getting that the weather pattern is going to cause upset, and it's going to be somebody who has been an extremely low profile right now, lady. It's been somebody who's just been sitting back, watching them self-implode, and then they will come in. It'll be somebody completely independent who will be making noise on how things should be done. Give it about 4 weeks, and there will be somebody coming out of the shadows. There'll be politicians coming out of the shadows in about 4 weeks. That will be the people who will be fixing the situation. It's not anyone currently in the news. It's somebody who's been sitting back watching, and then they'll be coming forward. I give it about 4 weeks. It's the 25th. We've got what? End of February is a short month, so I'd say the last full week of February, we're going to see somebody popping in. Okay? I don't know if it's the Reform Party, but it's somebody who is lurking in the shadows, and they're going to make their presence known like the last week of February. That's when it's going to come. Okay? The first 6 months of this year, Donald is going to make it a point to push it. The kids in the school are going to have to be educated on the Continental Congress. After they return to school after this storm break, education about the Continental Congress will be mandatory in all the schools. And the kids are going to start asking questions, and parents are going to be like, oh shit, I don't even know. I have to look up the answers. That's what's going to happen. Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you very, very much. We are going to be seeing the kids getting new education, and these teachers are going to be like, oh shit, Maynard. I've got to go back to my own 8th grade history class. Well, actually, I was learning about the 13 original colonies like 4th, 5th grade. So 4th and 5th grade U.S. history is going to have to be especially taught to kids in high school. Start watching that movie. A good movie for the kids to watch is 1776. It's a musical. It explains a lot. And if you can find it on PBS, Public Broadcasting, there's an old series TV show, The Addams Chronicles. Yeah, look for on yeah. Yeah, the Addams. Okay, they don't like me putting that information up. Yeah. Yes, make sure we go through the you're going to find the old books like at the Salvation Army Goodwill stores. They've got a lot of books. People donate them. And go and look for them there, and you'll probably find the Addams Chronicles on old VHS tapes. And you can find a VHS player at the old charity shops. Yeah, the old charity shops start going through their books, their movies. Yeah, get a VHS player, hook it up to your TV. And even go and find, they have a lot of stuff on old 33 LPs. Get Even now, the big box stores are now selling turntables again. But they used to put some really interesting educational stuff on instead of DVDs and cassette tapes, 8-track tapes, and 33 LPs, and you're going to find it, all this stuff, at resale shops. Go pick through those, and you're going to find some extremely valuable information. And that's where to look. Okay? Yeah, we're going to see a lot starting the last week of February. We're going to see a lot of things change. So, I've been on an hour. I want to wish everybody stay safe. Make sure you wear layers. If you're putting pantyhose on, ladies, remember it's the ones with runs in them, and cut out the toes so your toes can wiggle around and not get sweaty. Because if they get sweaty, that's when you can risk frostbite on your feet. And yeah. Yeah, and make sure that even the kids, when they're going out, hey, if the boys squawk, remember, tell them the NFL football players actually wear pantyhose when they're outside playing in the cold. You can check with them. They will admit to it. Okay? And if you look around, you can go and buy dancer's tights that are made for the guys like Mikhail Baryshnikov. I think he has a brand one. So if you as a dancer, okay, look. So don't forget to pull out your silk scarves and your, because they will keep you warmer than some of the knit stuff. Okay. So everyone have a great. Stay warm. Stay aware of your neighbors, and if people have questions, go ahead and email me, GlendaTheGood17 @gmail. And it's going to be it's going to be fun watching people self-destruct because they're ignorant of how to live in cold weather. Enjoy the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.